global auto parts and suppliers. We can see that even in this sector that we have broad-based buying because we do. It's all green. Global auto manufacturers, MMTs, that, oh, look at here. Still have a broad-based green versus red, so there's a little bit of buying even in there. Let's take a look. We already know what the biotechnology index is doing. It's fatter than green, so there's broad-based buying there. Morgan Stanley biotech sector, well, once again, you can see the fat green across the board. The NASDAQ biotech, which we already kind of know, it's green, so the buying is broad base, and it's that money going to work. The Philadelphia Drug Index, money going to work here. Still some money going to work. How about the pharmaceuticals? Yes, a little bit of money going to work there in some of these names. Okay, energy related, gold and silver for the day. We got a complete nice little green patch across the board. Morgan Stanley commodity related index, all nice and green. As we can see here, broad-based buying. Amex natural gas is also quite green across the board. So they're buying in that natural gas again. That's been on fire for a few days. Look at here. Not only that, we got Amex oil working our way. So there's buying going on in some of these names right here. Some of the ones that we trade and make markets in the leadership, okay? So you can see what the leadership is in the names. Look at here. Broad-based buying in Deutsche Bank Energy across the board, huge. Morgan Stanley Oil Services, look at that. This index, once again, all the oil services names are pumping. Okay, oil services in themselves. Well, now this one's really pumping, and there are certain names in here. We like NE, we like DO. That OII we trade it all the time. NBR is good. BHI, that has a certain range in it. But then there's SLB, that's strong on the day, and naturally the GLBL is. Okay, other financial things like S&P banking is very important, and we have some names in here participating. You have to see that, you see. And you have to see in financial services that you got some green. It's not as green as we would like it, but still, let's take a look at the broker dealers. The broker dealers, well, they're not participating. Goldman is the one that is the leader here, and that's the only one that we really trade in this index. For that reason, it's the leader. It's had a great move. Fertilizers, on the other hand, you have some buying there. Food processing, well, look at here. You got a lot of buying across there. See all the green? So restaurants, are they? Wow. So the restaurants are catching a bid, even though that people are still going out and eating for now. Morgan Stanley Healthcare Index, broad-based buying. Money is torpedoing there. Leisure, gaming, casinos, and things of that nature, they're buying up in here. One that we like to trade, there are two of them, Wynn and LVS, Las Vegas Sands. Real estate market, well, let's take a look and see about the Morgan Stanley REITs, if there are the housing sector. Let's check that. Now, we're not getting any broad-based rallying in here because the Case-Shiller Index, well, of course it was horrible, but that's anticipated. All right, in the retail, buying. So consumers, people believe that consumers continue to go shop. Obviously, and right here, Morgan Stanley cyclicals, they're catching a bid broad-based, money going to work. Morgan Stanley consumer, let us not forget that broad-based rally either. And Morgan Stanley retail, once again, whoa, we got a lot of green across the board there. Not only that, hey, then that means that the bull still believes that there's a lot of things that's going to be happening. Semiconductor, GSTI, semiconductors led the NASDAQ down in the reversal back in February. It will be one that has to take it higher. Here's the index called the SOX. You can see that it's going to take this index to lead these rallies higher from that bear reversal back in February, and this broad-based buying and all of these components right here. SIG, semiconductor devices, has even caught a bid. And we already know that this technology, that internet one, that's leaders that are going to be in there. We're going to be showing you that. Here we go. Let's take a look at all of this particular technology area. And technology seems to be catching a good bid. And Credit Suisse Technology Index catching a great bid. You want to see those bids in technology. Computer technology, that's like we're Apple, the leaders in there, and Yahoo and things like that, and Google, and it's broad-based. Disk drives, important. They're buying those. Look at that. The Dow Jones Internet, look at that. Just all green. The GSTI composite, all green here. So this is where you want to see money going to work. And it is, because people are looking forward and making these broad-based rallies across the board. So that bit multimedia networking, for crying out loud, it's up there. Look at that. So you got buying going on. Morgan Stanley Internet's very important. Look at that. Look at that green, and you want to see that there. So that means that we're going into earnings season April of 2011, and they're buying before the end here. And they're buying because they believe, here's a Morgan Stanley Technology Index, they believe that the bull believes that everything is okay, because we're not speculating. We got hardcore evidence of it right here. So we always look at that, and the transportations, we already know. The airline's important. Buying. Dow Transports, we already can see. That Dow Transport's very important. And we already know what the NASDAQ is doing. Okay? We already know that the NASDAQ transports are up. Okay? So basically, utilities were up. We went through North America Telecom Index, which is, you know, some of your bigger names, but nonetheless, there's buying going on in there. And we'll conclude that 11:34 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and this was the U.S. index and indices, and they're in bull rally being accumulated at the end of the 2011 quarter that started January, February. Today's date is March 29th, and in 2 days, we're going to see if it continues or not, or is it just a one-day wonder.